Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you is the reason 99% of people will never become millionaires. It's not because they don't have the right opportunity, or because they weren't born into money, or because some system is rigged against them. No, it's because they lose the war before they ever. And that battlefield isn't out there in the marketplace, or in some office, or even in the bank. It's in here inside your head. If you can't win in your own mind, you will never win anywhere else. Every morning, before you even step out of bed, you've already been attacked. You don't realize it, but the war has already started. Your phone lights up with notification. Netflix reminds you of the show you didn't finish. Your brain whispers, just sleep in for another hour. All of it is designed to keep you weak, to keep you average, to keep you broke. You understand how powerful that is. The world doesn't need to chain you down. It only needs to convince you to chain yourself. You think I got here because of luck. You think I built millions by accident. I became a millionaire because I refused to let my brain betray me. Every time weakness whispered in my ear, every time I felt like relaxing, I punished that thought. Most men let their minds run wild like an untamed animal, and then they wonder why their lives are chaos. A millionaire is not created in the bank account. A millionaire is created in silence when nobody's watching, in the choices that look small that build an empire brick by brick. Look around you. Weak men are everywhere. They tell themselves that's a start tomorrow. They tell the mouths it's not the right time. Do you know what happens to weak men? They get crushed. They get forgotten. They live invisible lives and die invisible deaths. Harsh? Yes. True. Ad declared war on comfort. That's the truth. While true. Discipline is something you do because without it, you're nothing. You think I wanted to get up at 5 in the morning, every morning. You think I enjoyed grinding when I was broke, when nobody knew my name, when there was no applause. Of course not. But that's exactly why I did it. Because I knew if I could conquer myself, the rest of the world would stand a chance. The world wants you soft. It wants you addicted, distracted, begging for little crumbs of happiness from a screen. That's why they flood you with cheap BIMO TikTok dances, endless games, fast food porn, alcohol, excuses dressed up as comfort. It's all poison. And you swallow it with a smile because it feels good in the moment. But here's the truth. Every time you give in, you're teaching your brain to betray you. Every time you take the easy way, you make it harder to ever take the hard way. And the hard way is the only way that builds you into something worth respecting. When I was broke, I made a promise to myself. I said, Andrew, you will either conquer your mind or your mind will conquer you. And I kept that promise. That's why I'm rich. That's why I'm free. That's why I speak and people listen, not because I'm special, but because I refuse to lose the war in my head. Ask yourself this. Who's in control right now? Is it you or is it the weakness whispering inside you? Because let me tell you, weakness doesn't scream. It whispers. It tells you just one more episode, just one more hour of sleep, just one more drink. And every time you obey, you're building chains around your own wrists. You're enslaving yourself while pretending you're free. You know why most people can't sit in a quiet room alone? Because they're terrified of their own thoughts. They're terrified to face the truth that deep down they're cowards. They've wasted years. But the millionaire mindset, it's born in silence, in that uncomfortable, brutal silence where you face your demons, where you crush them one by one, until your mind finally obeys you, until your thoughts are no longer your enemy, but your soldiers you want to be untappable. Then you need rules, not casual discipline, not I'll try tomorrow. Discipline ruthless, relentless, the kind that makes other people look at you and say, he's insane, because they can't understand it. They're slaves to comfort. You are a soldier of success. The war in your head doesn't end. That's the secret. It's every day, every hour. But here's the beauty. Once you start winning, once your mind knows that you will never tolerate weakness, you become untouchable. The world can throw distractions, temptations, insults, failures. It doesn't matter. You're iron. You're unbreakable. That's why I laugh when people call me lucky. Luck is for the lazy. I built this. Brick by brick, decision by decision, battle by battle. While they were sleeping, I was training. While they were scrolling, I was planning. While they were wasting, I was building. And now they look at me and wonder why I have what they don't. So let me ask you right now, man to man, are you winning or are you losing? Because you know the answer deep down. You know if you're conquering your mind or if you're being conquered by it. And if you're losing, understand this. Nobody's coming to save you. Not me, not your family, not some America. It's on you. Either you take control of your mind today or your mind will control you until the day you die. And when that day comes, when you're lying in bed and your time is up, you'll remember this moment. You'll remember that you were told the truth, that you had the chance to declare war on your weakness, that you had the chance to become unstoppable. And if you ignored it, you'll die with regret gnawing at your soul. Or you can decide right now to fight, to win, to take back control. The millionaire mindset doesn't start with money. It starts with the war in your head. Lose it and nothing else matters. The choice is yours. When I was younger, I studied people. I looked for gaps. I looked for problems. No one was solving. That's how I found my way in. While others complained, I asked myself, where's the weakness? Where's the opportunity? And when I found it, I attacked while I was special. Because I brought something people couldn't ignore. You have to understand this. Millionaires aren't collectors of cash. They're masters of value. Your bank balance isn't magic. It's a scoreboard. It's a reflection of how much value you've injected into the world. If your account is empty, it's not the bank's fault. It's yours. Look at the world around you. Every single thing you see, from the chair you're sitting on to the phone in your hand, exists because somebody created value. Somebody solved a problem, filled a gap, or made life easier for others. And they got paid. That's the game. You think Jeff Bezos wakes up and says, how can I get money today? No, he asked, how do I get people anything they want, delivered fast at scale? He created enormous value, and the money followed like a shadow. You want millions, but you don't want to carry the weight of being valuable. You want freedom, but you don't want to take on the burden of solving problems for others. You want the life, but you don't want the cost. That's why you'll never have it, because value is heavy. That's what value requires you to sharpen yourself until you're undeniable. When I walk into a room, I know I'm valuable. I know I bring something people want, whether it's strength, influence, knowledge, or vision. That's why people pay me. That's why they listen. And that's why I'll never be broke. A millionaire mindset isn't about chasing scraps. It's about positioning yourself as the man who holds the keys to something others can't live without. Let me give you the raw truth. If you can't look in the mirror and honestly answer the question, why should anyone pay me? Then you don't deserve a dime. The market doesn't care how smart you think you are. It doesn't care about your degree, your opinions, your excuses. It cares about one thing. Do you provide value that matters? If yes, you'll get rich. If not, you'll stay broke. It's that simple. Now here's the good news. You can make yourself into a weapon the world can't ignore, but it requires obsession. Obsession with skill. Obsession with becoming the man who solves problems while everyone else complains about them. If people don't see you as valuable, it's because you haven't put in the work to become valuable. And that's on you. A millionaire mindset isn't about chasing scraps. It's about positioning yourself as the man who holds the keys to something others can't live without. Let me give you the raw truth. If you can't look in the mirror and honestly answer the question, why should anyone pay me? Then you don't deserve a dime. The market doesn't care how smart you think you are. It doesn't care about your degree, your opinions, your excuses. It cares about one thing. Do you provide value that matters? If yes, you'll get rich. If not, you'll stay broke. It's that simple. Now here's the good news. You can make yourself into a weapon the world can't ignore, but it requires obsession. Obsession with skill. Obsession with becoming the man who solves problems while everyone else complains about them. If people don't see you as valuable, it's because you haven't put in the work to become valuable. And that's on you. And the reason I attract is because I've made myself into a man of value. I'm not hoping, I'm not begging, I'm not wishing. I'm demanding through the sheer weight of what I bring to the table. When you reach that point, money isn't something you chase, it becomes something you can't stop. But here's the danger. Don't build it once and then relax. The market is ruthless. It's always shifting. What was valuable yesterday is worthily evolve. What they thought value was permanent. It's not. You have to keep proving yourself every single day. So let me burn this into your mind. If you're broke, it's not bad luck. It's not unfair. It's not somebody else's fault. It's a reflection, a mirror. It's the world showing you exactly how much value you've created or failed to create, and until you face that, you'll stay trapped. Banyuj is king. That's the law. The man who creates the most value writes the rules. He sets the price. Become valuable, you want freedom. Become valuable, you want to live like a king. Then stop thinking like a beggar and start thinking like a builder. Because here's the final truth. Nobody remembers the man who asked, "What can I get?" They remember the man who gave the world something it couldn't live without. And the money, the power, the freedom, it will chase you like a shadow you can never escape. You ought to know the real price of success. It isn't luck. It isn't talent. It isn't even intelligence. The true price of success is pain. Joe, you run from pain like it's poison, when in reality, it's the only medicine that will make you strong enough to win. Most people spend their entire lives building a fortress of comfort. They work a job they hate just to afford weekends. They waste. They numb themselves with alcohol, Netflix, sugar, and lies. They think avoiding struggle will keep them safe, but it's the opposite. Every comfort they clutch is another chain around their neck. They're not safe. They're trapped. Millionaires are different. We don't run from pain. We hunt it. We treat pain like a tax we gladly pay. Every sleepless night, every brutal loss, every betrayal, every risk that could break us, that's the price of wealth. That's the toll at the gate of the empire. And you can't cheat it. You can't bypass it. You either pay in pain now, or you pay in regret. Two people laughed in my face. Door slammed on me so often I lost count. Do you think that broke me? No, it sharpened me. Every insult was a whetstone against my skin. Every failure carved me into something harder. Pain didn't weaken me. It forged me. While other men cried about rejection, I collected it like ammunition. Our teeth in a world full of wolves. And instead of being eaten, I learned to bite back. Here's the truth. Pain is not your enemy. Comfort is pain is the proof that you're alive, that you're moving forward, that you're alive, that you are moving forward. Broke man craves comfort now. He wants the soft bed, the easy job, the shortcut, and he pays for it with a lifetime of mediocrity. The millionaire accepts pain now so he can own comfort forever. Let me ask you something. What's heavier? The pain of discipline or the pain of regret? Because one will make you rich and the other will bury you. Discipline hurts. Yes, waking up early hurts. Losing deals hurts. Grinding when you're exhausted hurts, but regret. Regret is a knife that twists inside you every day until you die. Regret is looking back and knowing you could have been someone, but you chose the easy road, and that's a pain no millionaire will ever accept. Soldier bled. Builder broke their backs. Leaders carry burdens so heavy they could have crushed them. Why do you think you'll be any different? You want a life kings would envy, but you want it without scars. That's impossible. You don't get the crown without the crucifixion. You don't get the throne way. Do you know why I win? Because I love pain more than most people love pleasure. I've trained myself to see pain as proof that I'm on the right track. When it hurts, I know I'm growing. When I'm rejected, I know I'm closer to a yes. When I'm exhausted, I know I'm squeezing out more from life than the coward sleeping peacefully in his bed. That's why I win. Think about it. Everything valuable in your life came through pain. Your body built in pain. Your greatest lessons learned in pain. Your strength forged in pain. And yet when the next wave of struggle comes, you act surprised, as if life owes you ease. Life owes you nothing but suffering. And if you're smart, you'll turn that suffering into power instead of excuses. Pain is the world's most honest teacher. It doesn't lie. It doesn't sugarcoat. It shows you exactly when the punches land, when the losses pile up, when everything collapses. That's when you see your reflection. Are you the man who breaks, or are you the man who bends? And then stand stronger. The answer is revealed only in pain. That's why I laugh at people who think millionaires are lucky. Luck doesn't explain. Luck doesn't explain the humiliation I endured. Luck doesn't explain the risks I took that could have ruined me. Well, that wasn't luck. That was pain embraced, multiplied. Well, you don't want the blood, sweat, and humiliation, and that's why you'll stay. Broke the universe only respects sacrifice. Show me a man who's willing to bleed for his vision, and I'll show you a man who will get everything he wants. Show me a man who hides from discomfort, and I'll show you a man who will get everything. The truth is, you can't build an empire without bleeding. You can't stand above the world without scars on your back. Every millionaire has a history written in pain. The difference is, we didn't run. We stayed. We suffered, and we grew. The broke man sees pain as punishment. So listen carefully. The next time life smashes you in the mouth, don't cry, don't whine, don't beg for mercy. Smile, because that pain is the price of admission. That pain is the ticket that proves you're playing the game while everyone else is sitting on the sidelines. Millionaires don't escape pain. We absorb it. We process it and we turn it into fuel. If you can't embrace struggle, you don't deserve success. It's that simple. Pain is the currency. Pay it willingly, pay it often, and one day, when you stand on your empire, when the world calls you lucky, when they envy your comfort, you'll know the truth. You didn't escape pain, you invested in it, and it paid you back with everything you ever dreamed of. Money is nothing but paper. That's the first thing you need to understand. It's ink. It's numbers on a screen. It's digits moving in a system built to control average men. Cars, they rust. Watches, they lose shine. Every luxury you think you crave will fade, and yet people spend their entire lives chasing trinkets, flexing toys that time will laugh at. That's why they die forgotten. That's why they vanish the second they're gone. They live for things that don't last. The millionaire mind stacking money for the sake of it. It's about empire. It's about writing your name in history so deep that even death can't erase it. I don't care about just being rich. I care about being remembered. I care about being a force. Men speak about when I'm not in the room. That's what drives me. When I die, nobody's going to say, Andrew had a nice car. They're going to say, Andrew Tate changed the way men thought, lived, and fought. That's the difference between rich and truly wealthy. You see, most men are obsessed with weekends. They live 5 days of quiet misery. They live like slaves, then buy toys to prove to themselves they're free. But the millionaire who understands legacy doesn't live for the weekend. He lives to etch his name into eternity. He wakes up not asking, how do I relax, but asking, do you remember the man with the shiny shoes in 1850? No? Do you remember the man with the most fashionable hat in 1920? No? You remember the conquerors, the builders, the innovators, the warriors. You remember the men who took life, the Belgeres tempore, legacy. Luxury whispers, enjoy now. Legacy commands, sacrifice now, so the world never forgets. And here's the truth. If all you want is money, you'll never have enough. There will always be a bigger yacht, a faster car, a taller tower. You're a race legacy. If you build something greater than yourself, the hunger never dies, and neither do you. I didn't build my empire to collect toys. I built it to prove a point. To show men what's possible when you refuse mediocrity, to light a fire that outlives my body. Because one day the cars will rot, the watches will stop ticking, the house will collapse, but my impact, that will still be alive in the men I forged, in the lives I've changed, in the enemies I've crushed. That's what matters. Ask yourself right now. When you're gone, what will they say about you? Will they even remember you? Or will you be another nameless face, buried under dirt? Because that's the harsh reality. Most men die twice. Once when their heart stops, and once when their name is spoken for the last time. I refuse to die twice. I will live forever, and not because of money, but because of impact, because of legacy. That's why I don't waste time chasing temporary pleasures. That's why I don't care about fitting in. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to be remembered. Legacy demands sacrifice. It demands obsession. It demands that you carry weights most men collapse under. It's not easy, but think about it. Nothing eternal is ever easy. If it was, everyone would do it. Legacy belongs only to the few willing to bleed for it. The few willing to laugh at luxury while they build empires that will echo in eternity. The difference between rich kings, truly wealthy men build time machines. Not literal machines, but structures, ideas, movements that carry their names into the future. These men didn't just buy toys. They built worlds, and the world remembers them because of it. When I speak, I don't just speak for today. I speak for the man 10 years from now who hears my words and decides to change his life. That's legacy. When I move, I don't just move for myself. I move for the men who watch me, who sharpen themselves because they saw it's possible. That's legacy. When I win, I don't just win for my bank account. I win to carve my name into the minds of millions. I win to carve my name into the minds of millions. Because one will die with you, and the other will outlive you. One will be sold in an auction after you're gone. The other will be told in stories for centuries. One will put a smile on your face today. The other will put your name in history. They tell you life is about vacations, comfort brands, and trends. They feed you the illusion that status comes from what you wear, not what you create. That's why men are empty. That's why they're forgotten. The truth is simple. Status comes from confirmation. I'll let you in on a secret. The man who builds legacy doesn't even care if you love him or hate him. He only cares that you cannot ignore him. Because the opposite of love is not hate. It's indifference. The greatest insult life can give a man is to forget him. And the only antidote is to build something that forces the world to remember. So stop chasing trinkets. Stop flexing toys that will rot. Start asking yourself, what will I leave behind when I'm gone? Because that's the only question that matters. And let me be clear, building a legacy doesn't mean you can't enjoy luxuries. I love fast cars. I love beautiful things. But they are side effects, not the mission. They are rewards, not the purpose. The mission is empire. The mission is fast cars. Money is nothing but paper. Legacy is everything.